Alrighty, so yes, we can now move on to the missing Vanguard. So that's I think if we just walk through here, I'm wondering where this takes us. Let's find it. Alright, we're not anywhere helpful, so we can just Rizigan, and I'm going to change the stream details to be Ebon Vanguard update. Yes. So hopefully it should have been updated.
Can't.
Sweet. Can't.
Yeah.
Rizigan.
Can't.
Oh.
It's updated? Yes, cool. I mean I'm gonna turn them into separate VODs anyway, but yeah. The second one, I'm sure first one will be quite short. Alright, so thankfully we already went and got the outpost, so let's just go there.
Yay.
Woohoo! So for the missing Vanguard, we have to search the Ebon Vanguard in the Char homelands, travel to Long Ice Ledge and search for clues about the Vanguard. And as a bit of a recap, I'll read the entry for the Vanguard. So Gwen is a refugee from Ascalon and a former prisoner of the Char. Fleeing north after her escape, she joined up with an Ascalonian unit called the Ebon Vanguard, led by Captain Langmar. The bulk of that unit has been patrolling the Char homelands in the east. They've been raiding the Char rear echelon and tying up forces that would otherwise be in Ascalon. Their return is long overdue, and Gwen fears the worst. Impatient and angry at the Char, Gwen wants us to find the Ebon Vanguard. If you don't, I fear that she may go after them by herself. Alright, so outside of here is where you can spend your superb Char carvings on the headpiece, by the way. Do we want to talk to this fella? Olfin Longeye.
Are you hunting?
Gives search for Ebon Vanguard
Yep,
quest.
he's got the quest we need. Fantastic. Fantastique. So once everyone has the quest, search for the Ebon Vanguard, ready up. And I'm going to clean my inventory actually while people do that.
Who sent you?
Let's see.
Hey, can someone
Don't know.
what's the word? Man, English disappeared from my mouth. Recommend some good lo-fi or similar like music to listen.
Type into YouTube lo-fi music to study to.
Yeah, but I've listened to a good bunch of them, so I thought if there's like
I don't have any.
any of you know anything specific.
If I ever
playlist?
want to listen to lo-fi, I just listen to any lo-fi because I think it all sounds the same. Because I ignore it. I specifically put it on so I can ignore it. So no, nothing for me.
Thanks, that was so helpful.
Saws.
Yeah, I guess no one else is anything.
Yeah, no idea.
Gotcha.
But I do have loads of hi-fi recommendations.
What is that?
It's the opposite of lo-fi. It's hi-fi.
Interesting.
Are you ready, Kant?
Sorry. Yeah.
Alright, let's go.
Oh,
Yeah, I like this
Hofmar.
loading screen. So we're in
Oh,
we're in
that's so
the
pretty
Char
loading screen.
homelands. Yay. And I think we just need to search. Discover search so we just need to find some clues. Hero, I know you, says a whisper in the wind. Oh, Master Togo.
Well, someone knows this? What?
Someone does.
I don't believe it.
I mean, we are kind of a big deal. There's some tattered Vanguard clothing. Let's go check it out. Your deeds are known to me. Does someone here have Guam?
Yeah.
In this party?
No.
The tattered clothing bears the Vanguard symbol color. Ah, okay.
Yes, why do you even bother reading it loud if you read it in that manner? Just why?
Where he read it in Simish.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Simlish? Simish?
Simulin. Simulatra.
Puzzlin?
Simulation.
You know, since I started playing Guild Wars 1, I've learned quite a lot of things.
Like.
First of all, I thought, because I played Guild Wars 2 before I even touched this game, I thought the Maguma jungle was a new area introduced in Guild Wars 2.
Nope.
Because only thing I've heard from Guild Wars 1 was, you know, ooh, Kenta, ooh, Ilona. So it was like, yeah, so the first expansion was completely like original areas and stuff. And then the second expansion, Path of Fire, was like, oh yeah, going back to the kind of roots, like Guild Wars 1 areas. A lot of the Iceberg Saga maps I thought were completely new. And I have been proved wrong about all of these.
Yep.
There's just so many maps in Guild Wars 1, which makes it so that basically none of the maps in Guild Wars 2 are unique.
The
Or
only.
new areas. Like, they are unique because they look completely different, but...
So there are a few areas that are slightly. You know, it's not quite the same as what's covered.
Oh, can't.
Not covered in the first game, but I think the only like new zone is the bug in the system island. The island off of Nightfall, off of Corna. You don't go there in Guild Wars 1.
There was a great fight here.
But otherwise, most things are
This is Captain
retreading
Langmore's
old
outlook.
ground.
Yeah, and I got really surprised that
Ebon Vanguard
they're all
fell
just...
here. Those damn savages killed them all.
Like, I had been under the impression Guild Wars 2 expanded upon Guild Wars 1, but so far Guild Wars 1 has way more areas.
These animals took everything from me. My parents, my home, my freedom. The Ebon Vanguard were my friends.
Just for some context, Fresh Orange 97 has crawled into the room, put some stuff in a drawer, and crawled out without being seen once by the camera.
There are not enough corpses.
You're right, Beck.
Which is why I'm
There's only
laughing.
a handful of dead bodies. How large was Captain Langmar's force?
And she's completely nude.
Men and women.
So there are survivors.
Just kidding.
Prisoners, most likely.
Death is better than being a prisoner of the Char. We must make those animals pay. We must go after them.
Then you're in luck, Buka. It sounds like they're coming to us.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
There probably are other
So
areas,
pretty.
like, I think like Bastion of the Penitent, that's probably new.
Oh yeah, well, probably. I was mostly talking about the open world areas.
Yeah. But other than that, like open world, yeah, like I don't think there's really a map. Like some of the Maguma jungles that we cover in Heart of Thorns isn't in Guild Wars 1 and vice versa. Like it's a slightly different area of the Maguma jungle. It doesn't map up one to one, but like in terms of regions, it's the same.
What item did I drop?
A char explosive.
Oh, I didn't know I picked one up. Oops.
The room here bombs are very, you know, dangerous.
They are? Man, I didn't
Yes.
know. Good thing you warned me. Should we
But you
go
know,
after them?
sometimes you can't get rid of a bomb. It's sometimes.
Make peace with your gods, Bray. Why do I think someone else in Guild Wars 2 says the exact same thing?
Ugh. They just keep running off. But yeah, it would be really nice to go somewhere new for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
As a Guild Wars 1 player, it would be very nice to actually go somewhere that we haven't gone before in Guild Wars. I mean, like the whole reason Guild Wars 2 came about was because they were developing an expansion called Utopia, and they
Yeah, I
had
read about that.
all these big ideas and they just couldn't deliver them in Guild Wars 1. So like, oh, let's just make a new game. And I think a lot of people think that might be where they go next. But you know, apparently a lot of either a rat or Azuran architecture, I think, is like basically what they were doing for Utopia, and they just repurposed it to be Eye of the
Yeah,
North.
I've seen some concept art. There's some similarities there for sure.
But yeah, it would be super cool to go somewhere new. Like, I like going back to these places. Like, I'm super hyped about going back to Campha, but like something brand new, like we've not had that in such a long time. And I wonder what they'll do. Very curious to see what they're going to do after Ender Dragons.
Yeah, I kind of have high hopes because I think the chance of moving away from, well, what the current story has been for very long opens some really
Killing
nice
dragons.
possibilities. Like the Choco arc was pretty nice, I found, but it was a bit too short. So if they can do similar quality stuff, but like actually have it as a main focus and not the side dish,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential.
Well, yeah, like both Balthazar and Joko were way more compelling enemies than the dragons were. Well, I mean, Jormag was pretty cool until
Oh my, was amazing.
until
Yeah, until they kind of run out
Yeah.
of time and just
give up.
And
yeah.
just, yeah, gave up
Let's-
on all
let-
the characters.
Let's just not talk about that. But until that point, Jormag was very cool.
I like Krakatorik.
I think they did something interesting with Kraugotoric, but really I think it was like you only got that for like the end of that one episode, and other than that he was just a beast. He was just a beast that, you know, he was basically a hurricane sort of thing.
Unfortunately, yes.
Though the whole there's I think Krakatoric got a good amount of time focused on him, even though there was a lot revealed at the end. So if you played it,
I think they did
period-
really well with Kraugotoric. Like the season 4 was all as much
Yeah,
as
it
like
was good.
as much as it was kind of condensed season 4. I think it was all
was
good
my
stuff.
favorite part.
Yeah. But I
guys,
can
in
get
the-
that
in
if
the
you
north
played
there
it like
is a char supply caravan still.
What?
In the north there is still a char supply caravan, so
Oh,
I don't know if you know,
yeah,
let's
do that.
Need it for the bonus or something.
I don't think there's a bonus, but it'll just make it a bit easier, I guess. Not easier, but yeah, it'll assist us.
But yeah, like Start of Iceberg Saga is probably my favorite out of all the living seasons. Like it's just really strong. I think there's some good thematics, good storytelling,
No arguments here.
good
Which one?
atmospheres set up.
The only thing is, for the first time I saw like Vanguard Ruinbringer, I was like, oh wow, this will be, let me guess, it will be the villain for quite some time for the Iceberg Saga. Here and here he is.
But Ryland's he's still a character. We can still do stuff with Ryland. Like, oh sorry, not
Yeah.
Ryland. Bangar.
Yeah, Vanguard is still alive.
No, I truly do, like that's my opinion of this, but I truly think all the twists with Banger, Ryland, Smolder, all those, I liked all of them. Though I laughed at Smolder because I was like, wait, this is not very heroic.
We haven't spoiled
I'm not
anything.
gonna spoil anything specific. Don't worry.
No,
like,
Smolder. They I hate what they did to Smolder.
Yeah, they just, you know, this is not very Disney of us. This is not very PG. You know,
They just completely
cut this
destroy.
out.
They no, it's not nothing to do with like the actual story, but it's just not something Smolder would do. Like it's just completely out of the blue that they've made Smolder this. They've just completely changed what Smolder represents. Because
yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't know Smolder previously from his character. Like, I have no clue what kind of character he was. So
I mean, he's
I
the
found
one-
it pretty
he's the
cool
one
until
that-
they cut it off, like
like,
completely.
you have to think like Smolder's like the one that pioneered the whole treaty with the humans, and he kind of is pushing forward this era of peace with the Char.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like that's kind of
Well, I wouldn't believe that just playing through Iceberg Saga.
Exactly, that's the problem.
like they just completely butchered his character and everything that his character represents because they wanted an edgy Char, and it's like you could have just used someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. no, I still like it. It's too bad they used the
In the end,
character
it
they
led
did.
to nothing anyway. Like,
Yeah, it was just a
nothing
waste. It
happened,
was just a complete
so-
waste.
They can use the damn Ash Legion to do edgy shit.
Exactly, yeah, like that could be. You could have just got the Ash Legion, the
Yeah, it would
Imperator.
have fit maybe Ash Legion a bit more. Even.
Yeah. And like Smolder could have been like, "Hey, yo, that's not cool. Like, you shouldn't be doing
Yeah,
that
we don't
shit."
do that. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Good point. Good point. But of course, each living season has its faults and like missteps.
I mean,
Last
yeah, it's
Saga,
nowhere near as bad as
so-
what they did with the dragons.
Yeah, so good until the end side of Dragon Response missions and.
Oh.
Well, the problem
Finale.
is that, in my opinion, it's very important to have a good conclusion rather than
It is.
good development, because all the good development that every character had was just destroyed when they decided, oh, this one, no consequence. This one, we don't care about.
Oh, and
that.
Bram.
Those two, well, never mind, and it just ends that way.
Yeah,
They,
like
they
some-
completely
There's no
ruined the prophecy
consequence,
as well.
Nothing, and all
To be
the
fair, I think
development
they
was
would have
crap.
better time developing other characters if the focus wasn't
They
so
had
much
all the
on the
time.
commander.
For real,
Like,
they could have just given 3 more episodes. We've been waiting for like 7 years.
yeah, like this was
It
supposed to be
feels
like
so.
huge.
Oh, we need explosive charges. Shit.
I have one.
Oh, nice.
Oh, put it there.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil, but Braham was like an insult.
Yeah, let's not say what happened, but like what they did with Bram, like just, it just kind of like it takes all of the like. There's no stakes. At all.
Yeah, that's well put. I feel the same.
And it just completely discarded all the importance of the episodes that came before. And that's very sad because the experience up until the end was rather good.
Yep.
Maybe a bit slow to start, but it was rather good and very good in the middle when we got more development about all of the characters. And then there.
But let's keep our fingers crossed that End of Dragons and whatever comes after is good enough to hopefully at least
Yeah, they
kind of
learn-
make up
they
for
learn
this.
from mistakes. Yeah.
Maybe they're so passionate about what they want to do after that this was worth it, but I don't see it.
Yeah, though. About the endings, I don't think any of the endings was good apart from Living Season 4 ending.
Yeah, I think that was good. Season 3, well, the thing with Season 3 was that Episode 6 was never really supposed to happen. Like Siren's Landing, that was like a tack on, I think, because Path of Fire was running late, and they wanted to fill the gap. But yeah, like, to be honest, it kind of... the Episode 6, I like to pretend never happened, because they made a lot of iffy decisions in Episode 6. And
I can't move, guys.
what I feel is probably quite similar to the end of Iceberg Saga, where they just kind of rushed something out and they wanted to close off a story. Because like the Mursat story to Guild Wars 1 players, at least, or people who care about the Guild Wars 1 story, is quite a big thing, and it's kind of just all hand waved and like closed off very quickly in the interest of just getting it closed off. In Episode 6, and spoiler alerts to anyone, but in Episode 6 you kill the last Mursat. You join the Shining Blade, which a lot of people didn't like.
Which is also stupid because you can join it as any race and...
Yep. So you make this like pact with the Shining Blade, which is just not something a non-human would do. And then yeah, we kind of rush to kill this Mursat. That's kind of a Deus Ex Machina. It's like, oh, we've actually found him, even though he was like earlier in the story, and it wasn't great.
Yeah, I mean the last fight I think is pretty good if it just had slightly more build up.
Come, that Buka girl has gone crazy.
Yeah.
I liked when the last episode of season 3 came out, and I wondered was it
Gwen,
one
what are you
character
doing?
is from the
I'm
Shining
doing my
Blade.
job.
and I go to the vendor, and they sold the Livia like miniature and mini pattern was like,
Kill me, and you'll never see your friends.
But episode 5 of season 3 was pretty good.
Hold on, Gwen.
Why?
And the
Well, no better
I
than
just
the
believe
rest.
Guild Wars 2 is not very good at ending stories.
Are no friends of mine, Mouse.
Because
I
I,
think-
think Heart of Thorns ending was kind of
Your soldiers.
Living Season 2 ending didn't even end. It
I
was
mean,
more like a
POF
prelude.
was pretty
Clearly,
good.
or I'll let her finish the job.
The Char here were members of the Shaman caste.
Like Path of Fire was
super
quite a decent
close.
ending.
False gods.
I don't fully agree, but
God versus
It's not good.
Dragon, that's pretty cool.
As were your people.
It was very cinematic.
yeah, the last fight is cool, but
Some of us are
then you
more
do the
evil
prologue,
than
right?
others.
The epilogue it's called. Sorry,
I want a
I didn't
deal, mate.
think that was very
What
satisfying.
happened to our people?
Oh right, well the epilogues are all shit, but I don't really care about that to be honest. I just care about the
Mine to find yours.
yeah,
And we
no.
can trust you?
No. But
I mean, it was a
if
better
Mouse kills
epilogue
me,
than
you'll
Heart
lose
of
the
Thorns, that's for
chance.
sure. In the main game.
All right, let him out.
No!
We have a deal, Char.
Big Gwen.
But I'll be watching you.
I Empire fish.
I'll be watching you, says Ilosha dressed in Char hide.
and I have a bandana over my eye.
I would expect no less.
A blindfold, sorry.
Such as you.
Yay, we have a Char friend.
And
To be
speaking,
fair, I
on you go,
I
Ken,
wanted
sorry.
to see Crown Catoric from the beginning of the game, from what we heard of it. And after Path of Fire, which was really, really good, just seeing him going was just felt so amazing.
That
I really
reminds
liked
me.
Season 4 for that.
Guess I can see that.
Oh,
I guess I just didn't have the same kind of hype for Kralkatorrik. I was feeling kind of whatever about him, so that
Well,
He was
affects-
amazing.
Kralkatorrik's very cool, but what I need to show you guys, and maybe we can do this before finishing up a stream, or we can do this next, is we can go see Kralkatorrik.
Yeah, the
Let's go.
Sleeping Mountain.
Yeah, let's go do that. I think it's in the other map, so we'll go over there and we can do it. And also, speaking of bad endings, I mean, like the nobody liked the Zaitan fight either. The
Yeah,
Zaitan fight was pretty bad, but
I thought it was okay.
So I guess back in the
I mean,
time, like if you
the
do it
whole
now as
point
a
of
new
the
player, it's
story
not
is-
that good.
The-
But I've heard good things about it back then.
from a story perspective and cinematic perspective, I think it's really good. But from a gameplay perspective, it's really bad.
No, it was boring as fuck, and it still is. Even
And they use music
they
really well.
improved it a bit of the scenery, but still pretty bad.
Yeah, and then
So
they
was-
used the night song. What was it called? Don't Fear This Night?
Fear not this night.
Yeah,
Fear Not This Night, yeah. Which is really cinematic music to play there at the end. I think it's
Well, you say that, Kate. At least now it's easy. But I really don't like the decision they made to a not encourage people more to do the story dungeons, and b not have to party up to do the last dungeon, because like it is an MMO after all. You do want to be encouraged to play with other people. I know it's a pain, but like I think it's a good way to get people into dungeons.
But the thing is, I like the. Well, it was still not very developed, and it's still vanilla story. But I like the fact that you, for the whole time of the story, you know the danger is real. You can't just go and face it, and you spend all your time trying to build an army, technology, and something
Yeah.
especially to fight it, and you actually bring all of that in the end. So from a story perspective, it was okay.
Yeah, and like the march through ore and like where you're like kind of cutting off his resources, and you're actually kind of making it a fair fight, even though it's not, like, for a lot of people they probably kind of skip over the actual details and don't know that, but like yeah, and if you include like the meta events and ore and stuff, like it's really good. Like it's paced really well, I think.
I much prefer this kind of story than the warring hero protagonist thing that is the chosen one and fights Lythan one-on-one for no reason. And other
It's
things.
more realistic.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I also like the idea behind Mortimer and the fact that each dragon is fought differently. The one problem in that they could have given a better design to the inner
Oh yes, yes.
Mortimer.
Oh yeah, they made this just couch potato plant.
Yeah, chubby little.
It destroys so much of the impact when you find this thing.
The mouth of Voldemort's fight though is pretty cinematic and cool.
It's
Yes.
cool, but I also don't really like the design of the mouth of Mortimer either.
Oh, I actually like the mouth of Voldemort design. That's where
Like, I don't think it's terrible, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, I think out of all the dragons we've seen so far, the mouth of Mortimer is the least cool. Yeah, he has a really funny looking weird face.
Well, the thing is, that's not how Mortimer looks. How I understood is, Mortimer doesn't really have a dragon body, per se. Mortimer is the jungle. The entire jungle is Mortimer. And he doesn't have a normal dragon-like body. Like, I might be wrong, don't take this too seriously, but that's how I got it. And then the mouth of Mortimer is just, well, the mouth. The physical... Oh, also, yes, that Kraukatoric is really cool.
Yeah, it's a kind of a abstract, I guess. But look, guys, it's Kraukatoric.
Yeah.
No, I can't move my screen. I can't see anything.
But back to my point, like, you know, mouth of side and eye of side, and those were not the dragon. They were just
Sure, yeah.
connected to the dragon, and that's how I feel about Mortimer. Mortimer is the jungle. The jungle is Mortimer, and the mouth of Mortimer is part of the jungle and part of Mortimer. But because Mortimer doesn't have really a body, you can't really kill it unless you target the mind. Is how I interpreted it.
Well, for me, they're doing both.
It's that.
They're kind of having to do both. Because like you're doing the mind while the meta event's going on.
Yeah, basically that's how like you have the pact fight, the body or the mouth, the sustenance, the source of sustenance for the dragon.
I think the meta event is supposed to get us to the mind.
But that doesn't really explain why Mouth of Mortimer dies so. Like, it kind of does weirdly, you know? There's this whole line like, no, go after it, it's escaping. And then the Asura is like, no need, I think it's dying. Why did it just impale itself to a spike?
It's because they obviously had a second phase planned and they had to cut it. It's the same.
What I understood it is that there are different parties. One party is doing like the meta event, that is like the normal like adventurer, and the hero itself is in the story mission. And while they are doing the fight, they destroyed the mind.
Yeah, that's what my
and that's why the mouth dies so suddenly. That's how I thought about it as well. That they are happening at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. The whole meta event is to bring us to the core. At this point,
oh no, I don't think that is what other people are saying. Though, can't. I think they're saying the fight. The reason Mortimer falls dead is because that's when we kill the mind.
I got that.
Yeah.
But we are fighting in the mind because we get to the end of Dragon map, the Dragon's Den map, and to get there, we have to do the whole meta event.
Like the lane. Well, not the whole, I would say.
No, you don't have to. Like, the entrance to the mind is before the lanes.
But that's how we get here.
Yeah, you do the lanes, and that's when basically the party would split up for the hero side, and then the other part fight the mouth.
You don't have to do any of the lanes to get to the mind.
You
don't need to,
but in the story, you don't get teleported here.
Yeah, exactly.
Your character
I think they're completely separate, and think they're two completely different parties doing it at the same time.
I think it can be seen as both ways because, as you said, you don't need to play the meta to do the story end. Like, it's not do this meta once and that's when you unlock the story.
And the thing is they had been doing that in Heart of Thorns. Like in Heart of Thorns, there were points where you did have to participate in some of the meta, or I think so anyway.
I don't know. There wasn't any part.
Or at least there was like open world, like you had to do things in the open world. Maybe
yes, you need to
participate in
like
metas more.
follow Timy's trail in open world to get to
Yeah.
the next instance and stuff like that. But you never need to take part of the metas. But how, like, if you played as a player who doesn't have any masteries, there's the story steps are mastery locked. So you need to have bouncing mushrooms before you can do this story. You need to have this tracking skill before to do the story. And that kind of naturally drew the players when you were playing them for the first time. You did the meta while trying to get that mastery. And you did the map meta and you did events there. And then you got the mastery and then you managed to do the story event.
Oh, for me, I never had to do Dragon Stand for the masteries. I had all the ones I needed probably by.
I know
Orc
Dragon
Basin.
Stand is not useful. It's mostly on the first maps where you,
Yeah,
you need a lot of
the first
experience
two
to...
maps mostly force you to do this.
Yeah.
And Tangled Depth has one more mastery locked thing, like you can't enter it before you have the mastery, I believe. But after that, you don't have any mastery locked things, which makes it so that you naturally don't. They don't really make you do Dragon Stand before you do the story.
That was the Hierophant's plan.
Yeah, as Kate is saying, you should have all the masters, almost all the masters when you get there.
Yeah, I had
That's how it kind of naturally goes.
I had all the ones I needed for the story anyway. Like I had a lot of masteries to go, but really you only needed like gliding, bouncing mushrooms, and maybe New Hawk Wallows. But that was it for the story. You didn't need like Leyline gliding or anything.
No, you didn't. No. I just know because I did it on my alt account. Of course, on my alt account, I already know what I'm doing, so I'm quite efficient. But I actually did the metas to get the XP, to get the masters and stuff like that, and then did the story. So I think most players actually do it that way. And you're more of a outlier.
Well, I did it when it first came out, so I didn't want to rush through it.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But I know for the Kraukatoric fight, it's definitely the case that like both of them are going at the same time. Like the meta and the fighting inside Kraukatoric, they're going on at the exact same time. Because you hear in like the instance, the like you can hear all the rumbling, and that's the fight going on outside.
You be 1 minute.
You waited for POF to play Heart of Thorns. No, I had quit Guild Wars 2 for a long time and came back for Heart of Thorns, and I was really excited.
When Higher Thorns came out. Played
You
for
quit
1
when
week,
Heart of
did you?
Thorns came out?
Yeah.
No, that was like probably my prime Guild Wars time. I didn't really pay much attention to like the betas or anything like that, but I did come back for Heart of Thorns. Okay, so we've got 15 minutes left, and I'm not sure we'll have time to do the mission.
Let's have it for the last since next time then.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. I guess we will read the entry next time then for a recap.
Yep, works.
All right, cool. Well, check out spoiler and POF when you're in the world and it recaps the story. Well, I mean, what can you expect if you're playing out of order? That being said, a lot of games don't have like this one overarching plot like Guild Wars 2 does. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for playing, guys. I'm going to say goodbye to the stream. Bye, stream.
Hello. Bye.
Bye, stream.
Welcome back, Gloria.
Bye, stream.